Join me today while I contemplate the value of things, how it feels like it's getting harder to get ahead, and that's probably because it is getting harder, and why the value of things is more than just a monetary concept. Do we own our things, or do our things own us? This past week, I found myself reflecting upon goods and services, and how goods and services have a value, and how this value of things relates to time. If we were to look at things not through the polished lens of price tags, but through the raw measurement of energy required to create, transport, maintain, and store things, I can't help but wonder whether we would still assign them the same worth. Would they still shimmer with desirability if we saw the invisible hours, the human effort, and the environmental extraction embedded within them? Value, although so often compressed into a neat monetary figure, is rarely just about money. True value spills beyond currency. It lies in the lessons learnt through experience, the steady development of skills, the quiet reduction of stress, and the expansive sense of freedom, the strengthening of our bodies, and even the gentle healing or harming of the planet beneath our feet. And time happens to be a factor. Society renders doing mundane tasks a waste of time. Some people would say, why would I bother doing that when I can just pay someone else to do it? We live in a world where we are sold to from every conceivable angle, from the microscopic to the monumental, from the brightly labelled dishwashing liquid promising to make washing up effortless and carefree, to the grand cultural narrative of the great Australian dream, urging us towards home ownership as the ultimate symbol of success. I'm all for investing in appreciating assets. If you've done your maths, you know the tax systems and debt structures, and you can comfortably service the debt, then it's worth putting your money into something, like shares or silver or gold, real estate, or investing in a business or a company of your own. That way, at least you're not losing money to inflation, although you may be losing money through debt and taxes. We all know that banks aren't just a friend who wants to help us. They are a business, and they profit from lending us money with interest payable. And then there's the government rule-changing aspects. Just when you thought you were getting ahead, becoming financially free so you can retire and live comfortably without the worry of money, they add another tax. Maybe GST will go from 10% to 15%. Or maybe the government decided to abolish a tax rule, such as the 50% capital gains discount rule. In Australia, this allows individuals and trusts to reduce their capital gain by 50% when they sell an asset that has been held for more than 12 months. This means only half of the profit made on the sale is included in your taxable income. And if you didn't know, they're currently talking about abolishing this exemption. Thus, 100% of the gain will be used as your taxable income. Then there's inflation, known as the hidden tax. Every year the dollar is devaluing, so essentially the money you have in cash today will buy less as time goes on. Your dollar doesn't stretch as far as it used to. There's the yearly Medicare levy, payable for anyone who doesn't have private health care. There's the stamp duty tax, usually coming into play when property or vehicles are being purchased or transferred. There is personal service income tax, PSI tax. This applies to professions such as lawyers, real estate agent, consulting services. Basically, if you earn mainly from your skills, labour or expertise, rather than from selling products or using business assets, if more than 50% of what you paid under a contract is for your personal effort, the ATO may classify it as PSI, ultimately taxing you more. So, as I've learned about all these different taxes over the last 20 years of my life, it's made me think of the real purchasing power of a dollar earned. So let's break it down. I earn $100. My income tax is 30%, which is $30. This is the lowest tax bracket for Australian taxpayers. Thus, I'm only left with $70. I buy a product priced at $55, including 10% GST, so the GST proportion is $5. So basically that makes the product value $50. Then there's inflation. So let's put 5% on for inflation. The same product base rate now costs $52.50. So my $100 after income tax, GST, and 1 year of inflation at 5% effectively purchases $47.62 worth of a real product. And it seems that there are many types of schemes pushed upon us, promising kickbacks and benefits, which as a whole we willingly adopt. They sell the schemes hard and highlight what we will get, but then they hide the truth that actually someone is making a profit from this scheme, and there always seems to be a hidden agenda. Just like the 10-cent container for exchange program here in Australia, where if you take your collection of approved plastic bottles, aluminium cans or glass bottles, they will give you 10 cents for each one. People forget that prior to launching this system, they actually increased the price of every single served type of drink by 10 cents. So essentially, we're just getting our money back whilst doing more work for it. We now have to collect and take these cans into a centre, manually place them into a machine. Currently on my way to the containers exchange, and I don't mind the idea of people taking responsibility of their rubbish, but I don't know, this system seems a bit rigged. So $19.20, it hardly seems worth it. Obviously we pay for a bin service, so realistically I wish they didn't put an extra 10 cents on each bottle and can, and then we could just recycle it in our recycling bin. Unfortunately, people aren't very good recyclers, and a lot of our trash gets contaminated, so that system doesn't work either. I'm continuously surprised at how willingly people adopt systems like these. They see it as they are getting a good deal. And here's a thought to ponder. Each year, inflation will increase. Will the 10 cents that we get for every bottle increase? Probably not. Just as our wages don't increase at the rate inflation increases, this means that most of us are getting poorer over time. I don't want to disillusion anyone or dismiss ambition. We strive for fulfillment, growth, learning, joy, and opportunity, and thus striving is beautiful, if true opportunity existed on the other side of it. But if we discover it's an illusion, closed doors, just a trap, perhaps we are striving for the wrong thing. What if simplicity became an aspiration? What if freedom from unnecessary systems, deeper connection to nature, community, and lived and shared experiences replaced accumulation as the goal? Perhaps we would design lives more attuned to the earth, more rooted in people and planet care, more centered on shared experiences rather than stored possessions. I'd love to know what you think. Have you reached a point where material things feel less valuable? Or do they bring richness and meaning into your life in ways that makes them essential? I understand that certain products have value and things can be useful. Things can be great, quality made and purposeful. We need them. But the thought-provoking concept I'm trying to get across is that have you truly thought about what you want versus what you need? Have you weighed up the monetary time, energy input and environmental calculation? I urge you not to live a life of deprivation or poverty, because that kind of life comes with its own challenges and toils, but a life carefully curated with intentional purpose and where choices add more meaning. The well-known phrase, "You'll own nothing and be happy," declared at the World Economic Forum, maybe makes more sense than I originally thought. Kept in the hamster wheel, drip-fed out instant gratification pleasures and chained up to the new subscription model popping up everywhere in our lives. It's not really my idea of a great way to live. For those that have nothing, they have nothing to lose. But for those of us who have something, we have something to lose. And thus, having things is a double-edged sword. They require storage, cleaning, repairs, maintenance, protection, so insurances. And so I leave you with the question, do we own our things or do they own us?